Hello everyone and welcome back to the van build. I forgot to film an intro for the construction of the ceiling, so enjoy this 142 gigabytes of time-lapse footage at about 3000% speed of my friend and I building the ceiling. Alright, so the way that we've been proceeding with inserting the puck lights into the ceiling is getting our board up, screwing it actually into place, and then we have lines running down the van, we have these little pink strings in order to know where the center of the light should go. And then we mark it, we take it down, we drill with a drill, hole saw drill, a drill hole saw.
You're an idiot!
Find it in Home Depot. And then we take this back in here, mount it, and we've set the wires so that they're loosely where we're going to put lights. And then because we're working progressively this way, we can just leave the wires up there and then begin to attach them after the board is actually mounted. So let's get this done. Once you've cut and stripped the insulation back from your wires that are running in your ceiling, your DC wiring, which is going to go directly into your onto your bus bar for your DC appliances, then you take, mine is blue and black, so we're using black and black as the negative and red and blue as the positive. Since red didn't come on my wires, it's blue. So just be consistent throughout the system. I split the copper wiring in half, and then I'm taking the LED light and I'm twisting it around the copper wiring, and then taking the other half of the copper wiring that I twisted and twisting that around all of it, because the main goal is to get as much of the copper wiring in circling the and gripping onto the wiring from the light as possible. Then I take the second wire, because it's going to be in a circuit, and I twist that around this whole bunch. And then once this is like a little bunch of wire coming to a tip, you take some wire connectors, which look like little caps to like super glue bottles, and you stick all of that wire in there so there's not any wire missing. Push it down in there and then twist, and you'll feel it start to catch on the grooves on the inside, and twist it until you're pretty satisfied that that's not coming off there. That feels pretty good. And then you electrical tape all around the wires so they're together, and electrical tape around the cap, and just make sure that there's no way that a piece of copper or a key piece of strand could leave this place. And that is how you seal it, and you'll do that both times at every single light. Then you stick it up in there and you use those little metal things right here, and it pops into the ceiling, which is one of the most satisfying aspects of the van build so far. It's just perfect. It's like a little baby, newborn baby. Thank you very much to my friend John Bells for helping me put up the ceiling. I don't think I would have been able to do it alone. Definitely would not have been able to do it as well alone. There are a lot of imperfections in the ceiling. There are places where the boards separated before we screwed them down, so there's a big gap and I can see the furring strip underneath. There are places where pre-drilling would have been perfect and where we ran into knots and therefore there's cracks, so there's pieces missing or there's imperfections. My favorite example is right here in the front. There are 4 knot holes in the wood, all within about 6 inches of each other, and then in the rest of the entire 10 feet of ceiling there's only 2 knot holes. So the disproportionality between the two things is kind of funny to me. The whole process started with installing furring strips down lengthwise of the van, because we decided that due to the length of our boards and the thinness of them, that they could be able to flex on the roof, it would be a good idea to run them perpendicular to the direction of the van, which is why they're running like this. So the furring strips were just 3/4 inch plywood. We did about 5 inches or 3 inches, depending on the place on the roof or the ceiling. And then we actually did drill into the van for these furring strips. We drilled into the cross supports. So it's not into the actual side of the van, it's just into the supports of the van. Sadly, we were not able to use my cross nuts in this instance. We would have lost another 1/2 inch or 1/4 inch or 3/4 inch of ceiling height had we used the cross nuts. So we put up the furring strips, made sure that they were going to be in an adequate spacing for the shortness of the boards, because the boards are only 47 inches long, and the ceiling is 60 some. So there was always going to be a point where they needed to meet consistently. So you can see that as you look down the van, the seams are the same all the way down. It goes long, short, long, short, long, short, and alternates all the way down. The boards are 3/8 inch thick, so they were pretty flexible. They oftentimes cracked while we were putting them in. Not oftentimes, but often enough where it became kind of scary as you were screwing them in. You just need to go slow, be realistic with how much you expected to bend, and if you could bend the board have your friend bend the board before you screw into them, so that the last bend is not just sudden and abrupt, then I think that actually helped with not breaking more boards. Along the way, we decided where we wanted to put lights, the frequency with which we wanted to install them, and then we had a string tied from the back of the van all the way to the front to establish a straight line. And then as we were going along, every time we'd come to a board where we were going to put up lights, we'd hold up that string and mark exactly where we wanted to put the lights, so that the lights are more or less in a straight line all the way down the van. The lights are just puck lights, DC load puck lights, which were pretty simple to wire in once you got your first one done and understood the process. I was extremely satisfied with the ease with which they were installed, how incredibly satisfying it was to actually pop them up into the ceiling, and then how perfect they look sitting in the ceiling. It just provides a finished look that is just amazing. I also am pretty thrilled with the dispersion of light. I think as soon as I can install a dimmer for the LEDs, it'll be even better, because then I can have them a little bit less bright than what they are right now. So far, I am very happy with the ceiling and with pretty much all aspects of it. Even the imperfections, I'm fine with. For instance, I thought I would notice the silver or the zinc screw heads that are holding the boards to the roof, but after a couple of weeks, I've completely not noticed them anymore, and it all just looks beautiful to me. Maybe I'm a little biased because it is my van. Of course, down below will be all the tools, all of the materials, the puck lights, the boards, everything that was used for the ceiling. And then, like I said, it's just 3/4 inch plywood for the furring strips. I'm very happy with the way it's turning out, especially because now I'm using the same boards for the ceiling on the walls. So it's going to be a beautiful meld of that Coastal Ivory on the ceiling, and then it'll be darker or rougher cabinets, and then it'll continue Coastal Ivory. So it'll be just a beautiful, beautiful finish when it's all said and done. Thank you again to Trisha Jane Grant, my design consultant and friend, who's been helping me figure out what will look good, what will work together, and what will really open the space up. Originally, I was going to go with a very dark van because I kind of liked the ship's cabin feel. But now I'm really glad that I'm going with this lighter floor, lighter ceiling, lighter walls, and then dark but not too dark cabinets and finishes and little touches here and there. So that was the ceiling, and I'm incredibly happy with it, and I can't wait to show you the walls and then the finished product eventually.